Hello, Spiritual Gangsters, and welcome back to another episode of the Spiritual Gangster Podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Piraldi, and today we're talking about something that I think changes your entire life once you truly understand it. Safety. Not just physical safety, emotional safety, nervous system safety. The feeling of being able to exhale in your own life. And I think for a lot of people, this topic hits deeper than they realize. Because some people grew up learning how to survive, but never learned how to feel safe. There's a difference. Some people learned how to stay alert, how to anticipate problems, how to read the room, how to people please, how to stay emotionally guarded, how to stay independent, how to avoid conflict, how to prepare for disappointment before it even happens. That's survival. And if you've been operating in survival mode long enough, calm can feel unfamiliar. Sometimes people finally get peace and immediately become uncomfortable in it. Not because they want chaos, because the chaos became familiar. And familiar feels safe, even when it's unhealthy. That's why some people self-sabotage good things. That's why some people struggle to trust healthy relationships. That's why some people overthink kindness. And that's why rest feels uncomfortable. That's why receiving support can feel awkward. Because their nervous system learned, if I stay prepared for the worst, maybe I won't get hurt. And that mindset will exhaust you. Because living in constant emotional defense mode is draining. It's like your body never fully puts down its armor. And honestly, I think a lot of people don't even realize how tense they are until they finally experience genuine safety. Until they meet people who don't manipulate them. Until they're in environments where they don't have to constantly defend themselves. Until they realize what it feels like not to walk on emotional eggshells. That changes people. And I think one of the biggest misunderstandings about healing is this. People think safety is something you either naturally have or don't have. But emotional safety is actually something we learn, which means safety is a skill. That sentence alone healed something in me when I first understood it. Because if safety is a skill, that means it can be practiced, built, strengthened, developed, even if you didn't grow up with it. And listen, that matters. Because some people blame themselves for struggling with trust, boundaries, vulnerability, or emotional regulation, without realizing their nervous system has spent years preparing for instability. Of course it takes time to soften. Of course it takes time to trust. Of course it takes time to stop expecting disappointment. Healing is not flipping a switch overnight. It's teaching your body you don't have to stay in survival mode forever. And I think one of the hardest parts is learning that safety does not always mean comfort. And man, there's a difference. Because unhealthy patterns can feel comfortable simply because they're familiar. You can be deeply familiar with chaos, familiar with inconsistency, familiar with emotional unavailable people, familiar with overgiving, familiar with carrying everything alone. And then healthy situations can actually feel uncomfortable at first. Not because they're wrong, but because they're different. That's why some people don't know what to do when somebody communicates clearly, or shows up consistently, or respects boundaries, or genuinely cares. Their nervous system is waiting for the catch, waiting for the shift, waiting for disappointment, waiting for the moment it all falls apart. And honestly, that hypervigilance is exhausting because you're never fully present. You're always bracing. And maybe that's why some people struggle to enjoy good moments while they're actually happening, because part of them is already preparing for loss. That's survival mode. And survival mode can make people mistake peace for boredom. That one's important. Some people are so used to emotional highs and lows that stability feels strange. Healthy feels too calm. Peaceful feels too quiet. Consistency feels too easy. Meanwhile, your nervous system has confused chaos with passion. Be serious. And I think learning safety requires us to slow down enough to notice what our body is responding to. Because your body tells stories too. Your shoulders tighten, your chest feels heavy, your stomach drops, your jaw clenches, your breathing changes. The body keeps score, whether we acknowledge it or not. And healing often starts when we stop ignoring those signals. Not judging ourselves for them, not shaming ourselves for them, just noticing them. Because awareness changes everything. I also think safety is deeply connected to self-trust, and that part matters. A lot of people think safety only comes from external things, the relationship, the job, the money, the circumstances, the environment. And yeah, those things absolutely matter. But inner safety also comes from knowing I can trust myself to take care of me. That's powerful. Knowing you can set boundaries. Knowing you can leave the unhealthy situations. Knowing you can advocate for yourself. Knowing you can survive difficult seasons. And knowing you won't abandon yourself anymore. That creates a different kind of peace. Because sometimes the safest thing you can build is a relationship with yourself, where you know, no matter what happens, I will show up for myself. And honestly, that changes everything. I think a lot of healing is learning how to stop betraying yourself for acceptance. Stop shrinking yourself. Stop tolerating disrespect. Stop abandoning your intuition. Stop over-explaining your boundaries. Stop forcing yourself to stay in spaces that drain your spirit. Because every time you ignore yourself to make other people comfortable, your nervous system notices. And over time, that creates internal instability. But every time you honor yourself, every time you listen to your intuition, every time you protect your peace, you strengthen your inner safety, little by little. And listen, building safety is not about becoming emotionally closed off. It's not. It is not, I'll never trust anyone. I don't need anybody. I'll just isolate myself. That's not safety. That's self-protection disguised as strength. Real safety allows connection. Real safety allows softness, vulnerability, honesty, rest, joy, presence. And I know that can feel terrifying for people who have been hurt before. Because when you've experienced pain, your nervous system starts trying to prevent future pain at all costs. But here's the truth. You cannot heal by constantly staying emotionally armored. At some point, healing asks us to risk softness again. Not recklessly, not without discernment, but intentionally. And honestly, that takes courage. Because it's vulnerable to believe life can become safer than what you've experienced before. It's vulnerable to stop expecting harm everywhere you go. And maybe that's why healing feels so emotional sometimes. Because healing is not just learning new habits. It's teaching your body a completely different way of existing. A slower way, a softer way, a more regulated way. And trust me, your nervous system notices the difference. So if you've been feeling emotionally exhausted lately, hyper alert all the time, overthinking everything, struggling to relax, struggling to trust, struggling to feel settled, I just want you to know you are not broken. Your body may simply be responding to years of survival. And healing is the process of teaching yourself, I deserve peace too. Not just productivity, not just survival, not just endurance, peace. And maybe this season of your life is not about becoming harder. Maybe it's about becoming safer for yourself. Safer in your thoughts. Safer in your relationships. Safer in the way you speak to yourself. Safer in the environments you choose. Safer in the boundaries you keep. Because safety is not weakness. Safety is what allows people to truly thrive. Before we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with this. You do not have to earn safety by suffering first. You're allowed to create a life that feels peaceful. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to trust yourself again. You're allowed to stop living like danger is always around the corner. And no, healing will not happen overnight. But every small moment where you choose yourself, every moment where you slow down enough to breathe, every moment where you stop abandoning your own needs, you are building safety, little by little. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today for another episode of the Spiritual Gangster Podcast. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who's learning how to feel safe in their own life again. And as always, protect your peace, honor your nervous system, trust your growth, and keep living like the spiritual gangster you are.